before your lips ever touch, his mind should already be begging for you, because the kiss isn't the start, it's the reward. And if you do this one thing, you'll never be forgotten. The kiss is never just a kiss, it's a verdict, a moment that decides everything: desire, respect, dominance, connection. But most women walk into it hoping. You won't. You'll walk in knowing, because the real magic doesn't happen at the kiss. It happens just before it. And once you understand this, you'll never be treated like an afterthought again. Before your lips even get close, the moment must be shaped, sculpted really, by your eyes. This is where it begins. Eye contact is not just visual, it's psychological warfare wrapped in intimacy. It's the one thing that reaches him before anything physical does, and when done with intention, it creates a gravitational field that pulls him into you without you moving an inch. Look at him. Not like you're checking for interest, and certainly not like you're asking for approval. Look at him like you already know what's about to happen, and you're just giving him a moment to catch up. Hold his gaze. Not stiffly, not aggressively, but with presence. You're not staring, you're seeing him. There's a difference. Staring is about dominance. Seeing is about depth. And when a man feels seen in that way, without judgment, without performance, something inside him opens. You're telling him without saying a word, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not performing for you. I'm already whole. And I'm inviting you into this moment with me. That's powerful. And it's rare. Now here's the secret most never learn. The real impact comes in the shift. After you've held that gaze long enough to make the silence pulse between you, you soften. Not because you're retreating, but because you're opening the door. Your eyes become less intense, just for a beat, like a sigh in your stare. You let warmth flow in, but only slightly. That shift tells him something primal. It says, I can destroy you, but I won't. I want you to feel safe here. And that juxtaposition, power and softness, fire and invitation, that's what pulls him under. Because here's what most women do wrong. They either avoid eye contact altogether, looking down, looking away, overcompensating with nervous chatter, or they overdo it, trying to hold their gaze with too much force, like they're trying to dominate the moment. Neither works. One signals insecurity, the other signals a mask. But you're doing something else entirely. You're letting your eyes lead, not just to the kiss, but to the truth of who you are. And that's what makes him lean in. Not your lips, not your looks, your energy. When you master this gaze, this intentional, quiet confidence, you start triggering something deeper in him than attraction. You awaken awareness. He stops seeing you as just another woman and starts sensing you as a presence. Someone who knows who she is, what she wants, and more importantly, doesn't need to prove a single thing. That's intoxicating. Because now, he's not just reacting to your body, he's responding to your essence. And that's the hook he didn't see coming. The irony? You haven't said a single word. You haven't touched him. You've only looked at him, fully, calmly, without flinching. That's it. But in doing so, you've already taken control of the moment. You've made him wonder if he's enough. You've made him question what you're thinking. You've made him feel something. And that's the beginning of desire. You see, in a world of constant noise, true presence is seductive. Most people are just waiting for their turn to speak. But when you anchor your gaze and stay with him, when you don't flinch, when you don't fill the space with nervous energy, you separate yourself. You create tension. And desire lives in tension, not in the physical touch, not even in the kiss. but in the space before it. That's what hooks a man. That's what he won't forget. So if you really want the kiss to mean something, if you want it to go beyond chemistry and into memory, then begin here with your eyes, with the stillness that says, I know who I am, with the calm that whispers, I don't need to be chosen, I've already chosen myself. That's the power move. That's the real beginning. And when your lips finally meet his, he'll already be yours. Not because you gave yourself away, but because you made him feel long before you touched him. The most magnetic women in the world don't move first. They don't rush. They don't overcompensate with flirty gestures or try to prove they're desirable. Instead, they shift something deeper, their energy. And when you understand this, you unlock a secret that most people will never grasp. Seduction doesn't start with your body. It starts with your presence. You don't need to lean in. You don't need to reach. You just need to be fully and intentionally where you are. And the space around you will bend. This is about energetic posture, an invisible stance that says, I am centered in myself, and I don't need to move to be noticed. It's not arrogance. It's not coldness. It's certainty. The kind of certainty that makes a man feel the difference between you and every other woman who's tried to impress him. The women who lean forward too quickly, who nervously smile or overtalk, who rush to close the gap. Those women are communicating need, and nothing kills desire faster than neediness. But when you let your energy do the leaning instead of your body, something almost magical happens. He leans in, he initiates, he feels the urge to bridge the space between you, not because you asked him to, but because he can't not. So how do you shift your energy? You begin by drawing it inward. Imagine every ounce of your attention pulling back to your center, to your breath, to your awareness of your body and the space you occupy. You stop focusing on how he sees you and start feeling how you see him. This flips the dynamic. It's no longer about performing or reacting. It's about observing, owning, and choosing. That shift alone puts you in control, quietly, but unmistakably, because now you're not trying to be liked, you're choosing whether he's worth leaning toward. Most people think influence happens when you act, but the deepest influence happens when you withhold action with poise. It's the woman who doesn't scramble for approval, the one who stays seated in her worth. That's the woman who becomes unforgettable. Her energy says, I'm already full. I'm already home. You're welcome to approach if you can handle the gravity. There is power in restraint. Not the kind that shuts down emotion, but the kind that heightens it, because it forces the other person to wonder, to pursue, to earn what they sense is rare. And this isn't just about seduction, it's about value. Men chase what isn't freely given, not because they're shallow, but because they're wired to rise to a challenge. When your energy pulls back, subtly, elegantly, without hostility, you activate his instinct to reach for you, not out of entitlement, but out of desire to connect with something real, something that doesn't need him, but chooses him anyway. This is the difference between performance and presence. Performance is outward, it's loud, eager, and dependent on validation. Presence is inward, it's still, rooted, and commanding. And when you carry presence instead of performing, your silence says more than words. Your stillness becomes provocative. Your calm becomes irresistible. There's also a sacredness to this kind of energy. It respects your own emotional boundaries. It keeps you from giving more than you mean to. When you let energy lead instead of action, you allow intimacy to unfold naturally with intention. You don't end up in places. physical or emotional, that you didn't consciously choose. You keep your power. And ironically, that power becomes the very thing that pulls him closer. He doesn't want a woman who throws herself at him. He doesn't want someone who's already given herself away in hopes of being wanted. What he craves, whether he admits it or not, is the kind of woman who walks in full, whose stillness makes noise, whose presence stirs questions, who sits back and yet somehow feels like the most electric thing in the room. You don't need to move to be felt. You don't need to speak to be heard. When your energy is grounded, when your emotional center is unshakable, you become the gravitational force. And men don't chase women who try hard. They chase women who know they don't have to. So before you kiss, don't lean in. Let the air between you be thick with what you're not saying. Let your stillness speak. Let your presence invite, challenge, and awaken. Because the moment you shift your energy without shifting your position is the moment he starts to wonder if you're something rare. And once a man thinks you might be rare, he'll move mountains to get closer. Words can build walls, or they can melt them. And right before a kiss, when the air is thick with expectation, one sentence, just one, can either push a man deeper into himself or pull him entirely into you. The most powerful women know this. They don't use clever lines or movie script flattery. They don't try to sound romantic or impressive. Instead, they speak one sentence that cuts straight through his ego, his defenses, his hesitation, and the effect is electric. Because here's the truth. Most men are not afraid of a kiss. They're afraid of what it means. Afraid of losing control. Afraid of being seen. Afraid of the woman in front of them being real enough to actually touch something inside. And so they put up subtle walls. Walls of charm, humor, confidence, even silence. But you're not just there to kiss him. You're there to reach him. And to do that, you need a sentence that bypasses everything he's pretending to be and speaks to the part of him he usually hides. That sentence will be different for every woman. But the key is always the same: truth. Unfiltered, vulnerable, grounded truth. Not soft, not poetic, but raw enough that he feels you're showing him a piece of yourself, not a version of yourself. For example, I don't need this, but I want it. That sentence is devastating, not because it's seductive in tone, but because it's real. It says, I'm not kissing you out of loneliness or insecurity. I'm kissing you because I choose to. And that's all the reason I need. It flips the script from seeking validation to owning your desire. And what happens when you say something like that? Everything inside him shifts. Suddenly he's not in control of the moment. You are. Not in a manipulative way, but in a deeply human way. Because you've done what almost no one does anymore. You've spoken with emotional clarity. You've brought your full awareness to the surface without fear, without hiding. And the moment he hears it, he stops seeing you as someone to impress. He sees you as someone undeniable. Here's another. This doesn't have to mean anything, but right now it means everything. That kind of sentence carries weight. It pulls him into the present. It stops time. It tells him you're not clinging to what comes next. You're immersed in what is. That presence is rare. And when it's spoken out loud, it disarms every narrative he's playing in his head. Suddenly, he's not thinking about what happens after, or who has the upper hand, or whether he's in control. He's just with you fully, and that's what creates intimacy. Not the kiss itself, but the mental free fall that happens right before it. And you don't need poetry, you don't need to be dramatic, you just need to mean it. Even something simple like, I'm not nervous, you just make me feel a lot, can change everything. because vulnerability, when delivered with calm strength, is magnetic. It's not weak, it's honest. And honesty is power, not the power that dominates, but the kind that awakens something real in him, something that no amount of flirting or teasing could ever touch. But timing matters. You don't throw this sentence into the middle of nervous laughter. You don't drop it while checking your phone. You wait. You let the silence build. You let the energy between you thicken like the pause between lightning and thunder. And then, when it's just you and him and breath, you say it, and say it once. You don't over-explain. You don't apologize. You don't fill the air with follow-up. You let it land, like truth always does. Clean, sharp, and irreversible. And the beauty of this, you're not saying it for him. You're saying it from you. That's the part that makes it powerful. Because when a woman speaks from her center, when she owns her experience without performing it, a man feels something ancient in her, something untamed. He feels like he's in the presence of a woman who is not waiting to be led. She is the moment. And the kiss becomes something else entirely. Not a physical act, but an emotional event. Understand this. You don't need to say much to be unforgettable. You just need to say something true, something that slices through the surface, something that can only come from you. Because once you do that, once you say that one sentence that disarms him, not with softness, but with self-awareness, you change the game. He'll never forget it, not because it was poetic, but because in that moment you were real, and in a world full of masks and noise, being real is the most seductive thing there is. Most women ruin the moment by rushing into it. They think speed equals passion, that urgency makes it hotter, more desirable. But that's not how tension works. That's not how you carve your name into a man's memory. The truth is, it's not the kiss that hooks him. It's the space right before it, that razor-thin sliver of silence where time feels suspended and he has no idea what you'll do next. That's where power lives. And if you know how to pause, really pause, you own him. Think about this. When you rush, you hand over your mystery. You rob the moment of its potential. You make it ordinary, expected, predictable. But when you pause, even for 1 second longer than he thought you would, everything changes. The air thickens, his breath shortens, his mind starts spinning, because now he's not sure if you'll kiss him or pull away. He's not sure if this is the moment or just the build-up to something even more electric. That uncertainty, that suspense, that's what creates longing. And longing always beats satisfaction. Always. The pause doesn't just delay the kiss, it charges it. It loads the moment with weight, with meaning, with anticipation so sharp it almost hurts. That's the tension you want. That's the tension he'll replay in his mind again and again, long after it's over. And here's the secret. That kind of tension doesn't come from the kiss. It comes from you, from your ability to be still, to withhold, to lean into the silence without filling it. Most people can't do that. They flinch, they speak, they touch too quickly. They can't sit in the heat of the moment they've created. But you thrive in it. You understand that timing is everything. The pause isn't accidental, it's strategic. It's the space that separates a kiss from a memory. And that pause is not about hesitation. It's not about doubt. It's about control. Controlled stillness, deliberate silence. It's you saying with your body, I'm not rushing. I'm savoring. I'm deciding. And in that exact moment, he stops seeing you as a woman who wants him and starts seeing you as a woman who knows exactly what she's doing. Even your breath matters here. Don't hold it tight. Let it slow. Deepen it. Let him hear it, feel it in the space between you. That breath is a message. It says, I'm not nervous. I'm aware. And awareness is seductive. It tells him you're not just kissing for effect or performance. You're experiencing the moment fully with all your senses. And that makes him want to do the same. And when you finally do move closer, don't erase the tension all at once. Let it linger. Let your lips hover. Let your presence touch his before your skin ever does. Let that final pause, the one right before your lips connect, stretch just long enough to make his entire body scream yes. That's where the magic lives, in that pause, not in the kiss itself, but in the split second before, when the world stops and the only thing either of you can feel is the gravity pulling you together. You have to trust that he can handle the silence. You have to trust yourself enough not to rush into filling the space. It's not your job to keep the moment comfortable. It's your power to make it memorable. And comfort never made history. Tension did. Stillness did. That delicious, agonizing uncertainty that says, I'm almost yours, but not quite yet. And don't worry about whether he's getting impatient. Let him be. That's part of it. Let him want it so badly that he forgets how to breathe. Let him feel just on the edge of the moment, and then hold him there. Because when you finally kiss him, after that long electric pause, it won't just feel good. It will feel earned, felt, needed. And that's what burns it into his nervous system. It's not about manipulation, it's about mastery. You're not playing games. You're crafting an experience. You're reminding him that intimacy isn't a race. It's a build, a symphony. And you are conducting every note, every breath, every second of silence like it matters, because it does. So pause, linger. Let your stillness say more than your words ever could. Because when he looks back, when he remembers this night or this kiss or this version of you, it won't be the moment your lips met. It will be the moment just before, the moment he couldn't take any more, the moment you paused and made him feel everything. Before you ever say a word, before you make a move, before your lips get even close to his, he should already feel something undeniable radiating from you. Not nervousness, not doubt, not hope, confidence. The kind that doesn't need to shout, the kind that doesn't need approval, the kind that enters a room and owns it without touching a thing. That's the force that should speak first. And when it does, confidence isn't loud, it's not exaggerated flirtation, over-the-top laughter, or forced eye contact. Real confidence is quiet power. It's a calm steadiness in your body. It's how you sit in your space, how you carry yourself like you don't need to be chosen because you already chose yourself. That energy is unmistakable. It's felt. Men feel it before you speak. They feel it in your posture, in your gaze, in your breath. It's in the way you're not rushing anything, not fidgeting, not seeking cues for what's okay to do next. You already know. And that knowing, that's your presence. That's what makes the entire moment shift in your favor. When a woman walks into a moment like a kiss with that grounded energy, she changes everything. She's not trying to make it happen. She lets it happen. And that difference is massive, because the woman who tries to be sexy, tries to be wanted, tries to get it right, is already behind. Her energy is chasing. but the woman who lets things happen on her time, her terms, from her truth. She becomes the one they chase, not because she's trying to play hard to get, but because her confidence makes her impossible to forget. Confidence is communicated in how you breathe. Are you holding your breath, waiting for permission, or are you exhaling like the moment belongs to you? It's in how you stand or sit. Are your shoulders tight, guarded? Or are they relaxed, open, unafraid? It's in your eyes. Are they darting, checking for signs? Or are they steady, certain, saying, I know what I'm worth, and I'm not here to prove it? One of the most powerful things you can do right before a kiss is nothing at all except stay still in your knowing. That stillness tells him everything. It says, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to experience this fully if it's worth my time. That is devastatingly attractive because most men are used to women molding themselves, trying to match his tempo, respond to his signals, adjust to what he might want. But when you show up rooted in your own value, he has no choice but to rise to your level. This doesn't mean being cold. It doesn't mean arrogance. In fact, arrogance is often a cover for insecurity. Real confidence is warm, inviting, grounded, but never chasing. It's you being completely present with him while being completely centered in yourself. And that paradox, being available without being dependent, is what drives him wild. Because you become a mystery he wants to solve, a storm he wants to step into. The kiss is just the surface. What's underneath? The emotional weight, the depth, the self-possession is what leaves the mark. And that self-possession doesn't just happen in the moment. It's built in how you talk to yourself when no one's watching, in how you decide your value before anyone else reflects it, in how you trust that you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to be authentic and whole. Before you kiss him, let him feel that wholeness. Let him sense in your eyes and in your stillness that this kiss is not your request. It's your offering. That you're not hoping he sees you. You know you're worth being seen. And that confidence doesn't need validation. It creates it. A man may be attracted to your beauty. He may be pulled in by your charm. But what anchors him, what keeps him coming back, replaying the moment, questioning how he got so hooked, is your unwavering confidence. That is what pierces through the noise of every other kiss he's ever had. Because most kisses are forgettable, but a kiss that begins with a woman who stands in her power, that's a kiss that redefines him. So as you stand there, before the kiss, before the lean, before the lips meet, remember this. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect setup. All you need is to own the space you're in. Let your breath speak of ease. Let your posture speak of calm. Let your gaze say, I could leave, but I'm choosing to stay. And let your confidence say, everything else. Because when you let your confidence speak first, you never have to chase desire, you become it. Endings leave echoes. And the way you end a kiss, especially if you end it before he expects, can echo in his mind for days, even years. It's not the intensity of the kiss that haunts him, not the depth or the duration. It's the withdrawal. The moment you pull away, not abruptly, not coldly, but decisively, you take the power of the moment and make it yours. That's when the kiss stops being something that happened to you and becomes something he was granted. And now he's left wondering, what just happened? Why do I want more? Because here's what no one tells you. Most people overstay in intimate moments. They cling. They hold on. They push for one more second. But the most unforgettable women, they don't linger. They leave while the moment is still rising, while desire is still blooming, before the mind gets comfortable, before the emotions settle, that early ending doesn't disappoint him. It elevates the entire experience. It sharpens it, makes it unforgettable. Why? Because the brain remembers the peak of an experience and the end. You control both. So when you end the kiss just a heartbeat before he expects it, you've already made yourself unforgettable. Ending first is not about playing games. It's about maintaining your power. You're not robbing him of anything. You're giving him a gift, the gift of yearning, of mystery, of something almost complete that now lives in his mind as a question, not a conclusion. That question burns, it loops, it keeps him up at night. Why did she stop? Was she done? Was she teasing? Was that it, or just the beginning? You're also sending a deeper message, one that bypasses the moment entirely. I don't overgive. I don't need to be consumed to be remembered. That's rare. Most people give and give, afraid that if they stop, they'll be forgotten. But you understand the secret of seduction. Less is more when what you offer is rich with meaning. You don't need time, you need impact. And you make that impact when you walk away on your terms. Think about how this feels to him. He's caught in the electricity of the moment, maybe thinking he's in control, until you gently pull back. You don't do it in fear. You don't do it with awkwardness. You do it like it was always part of the plan, like you decided how this would go. That movement says more than any words could. It tells him, you don't own this moment. I do. And I just let you taste it. That energy lingers. It humbles. It turns desire into obsession. And let's be honest, ending first protects your dignity. It reminds both of you that your presence is a privilege, not a product. You're not there to be consumed. You're there to choose, and that includes choosing when it's enough. That's the woman who never loses herself in the moment. That's the woman who doesn't let desire blur her self-respect. She knows her worth, even while she's in the fire of connection, especially then. Ending early also draws a boundary, a subtle one, not because you're cold, but because you're clear. You're not chasing validation from the kiss. You're not trying to make it last so you feel desired longer. You already know you're desired. You already know he wants more. And that's exactly why you can walk away with a quiet smile and a steady gaze while he's still trying to catch his breath. And that's the difference between a kiss he enjoys and a kiss he remembers. The ones that last too long fade into comfort. The ones that end just a breath too soon live on in tension. And tension is the root of desire. When you leave him suspended in that tension, when you walk away with the scent of possibility still in the air, you don't close the chapter. You start it. You become the woman he wants to chase, to understand, to experience again. Because what he got was just enough to awaken him and not enough to satisfy him. So the next time you kiss him and you feel the moment building, his hands tightening, his breath rising, don't wait for it to slow down. Don't wait for it to fizzle. End it at the height. Pull away slowly, deliberately. Let your lips be the last thing he feels, and your absence the next thing he notices. Let the moment hang, unfinished, beautiful, charged. Then look at him. Not with apology, not with explanation, but with a knowing, a confidence that says, I could have stayed, but I didn't need to. That's how you leave a man wanting more. That's how you turn a kiss into a memory and a memory into a pull. Because the woman who ends it before he's ready isn't forgettable. She's addictive. And he'll come back, not for more kisses, but to feel that feeling again. The feeling of standing in front of a woman who doesn't need to be held on to be powerful. The one who left first, but left him wanting forever. A kiss is never just about the lips. It's a reflection of who you are before, during, and after it happens. It tells a man how you see yourself and how he should see you too. Most women think the kiss is the climax. You know now it's the expression of everything you've already created through presence, energy, stillness, and choice. You don't need to chase chemistry. You create it with your gaze, your breath, your restraint. You don't need to perform. You invite him into a moment that's deeper than touch, one that reaches the mind, the heart, the instinct all at once. You become the rarest kind of woman, not the one who kisses well, but the one who makes the kiss feel like a secret he was lucky enough to be let in on. And most of all, you don't need to wonder if you're enough. You are the moment. You are the mystery. You are the standard. From the first glance to the final step away, you shape the memory. And the man who experiences that, who truly feels your depth, your confidence, your stillness, will never kiss another woman the same again. Because once a man has tasted what it's like to be kissed by a woman who knows herself, he'll never forget how it felt to lose himself. In you,